Welcome back. It's good to see you all. I hope there's a lot of folks there. And I hope that your bellies are full of good soup and are ready to see where this sermon is going. But before I get there, I sure hope there was pie. And if there was pie, maybe somebody saved me a piece. You know, I do like pie. Anyway, back to Pilate. He said, "What is the truth?" We need a little background to understand this passage. Jesus has been arrested by the church folks. He's been handed over to Pilate as the official of Roman authority in Jerusalem. Now, Pilate is a young man who very much wants to please the folks back in Rome. The greater the peace, and the fewer troops to maintain the peace, the better. Pilate and the church folk kind of have what many would call a good old boy relationship, a quid pro quo, so to speak. You make money for Pilate in Rome, and he makes peace and lets you do your thing. For the church folks, it seems like a win-win. Pilate believes that all the power in this situation rests with him. He at first is reluctant to bring any charges against Jesus, because he does not know what he does is wrong, other than he seems to be making the church folk upset. He did make a little scene in the temple, but that can be excused with just a few lashes. No need to seek the death penalty. So he asked Jesus, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And Jesus never says that he is the king of the Jews. He does say, "Do you ask this on your own? Or did others tell you about me?" Now, Pilate is starting to tire of this cat and mouse game already, and he really wants to know what is going on with him. So he says, "I am not a Jew, am I?" But Jesus never answers that question either. But he does say that his kingdom is not of this world. This is an interesting twist in the plot. Pilate is the ruler of the region we know as the Middle East. And if Jesus is not a king of this world, which world is it? Maybe he's confused and thinks he is the ruler of Egypt or all of Africa. Maybe he is ruler of the seas like Neptune and has left his trident behind. Pilate replies, "So you are a king?" And Jesus exclaims, "You say that I am a king. For this I was born, and for this I came into the world, to testify to the truth. Everyone who belongs to the truth listens to my voice." And here we are back to the truth question. What is the truth? John of Patmos testifies in the book of Revelation that the truth is Christ. Christ is the king, not of this world, but of all realms, and is the King of kings over all humanity. Christ will rule this kingdom throughout history, in the present and the future. The symbol for all of this is the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last letters of the Greek alphabet. Proclaiming Christ as the King was extremely risky in biblical times, and honestly, it is in 2021. Many people will probably write us off as nut jobs and laugh because there is no power to be had in heavenly kingdoms. Because let's face it, that is the desire of humanity, power. The Puritans fired off their weapons to demonstrate who was in control. Lincoln made a national holiday to persuade the Christians of the day that they were doing the right thing as a union, defending it from the Confederates. The group in power will do everything it can to remain in power. Just ask Pilate, because he and the church folk of the day eliminated any threat to the power of their city and their church. What have you learned from the pandemic? People ask all the time. I don't know what you've learned, but I can tell you that I've learned a great deal about me. I have learned that I have power because of my privilege. I have been privileged my entire life because of being a male and because of being white. I have never feared that I would be treated unfairly because of these two privileges. I live on land that was taken from others by power and force away from the Native Americans. I was able to earn 2 degrees from college when many were never afforded the privilege of being white or male. I have never been forcefully displaced from my home, nor have I ever suffered from lack of food, shelter, and clothing because I was born in the correct country. I have never been ridiculed for my faith and have been allowed to practice it any time and any place. I have had power my entire life, and I fear that I ask way too often, as Pilate did, what is the truth? As we come to the end of another year, as we come to another Thanksgiving, may we seek the truth under the kingship of Jesus the Christ, and not from a place of privilege. All hail the King of heaven and earth. Amen.